Episode. I don't care what episode this is. Today we talking about the old switcheroo, the old bait and the old switch, and we're going straight into it at Genesis 42 and on down. If you're familiar with the Bible, the story of Joseph, he told Pharaoh, "Hey man, it's gonna be a drought. It's gonna last about 7 years. If you save up the grain and sell it, you're gonna make a killing." All right, and that exact thing played out. A drought came. They had grain. They sold it. They made a killing. Now we're going to Southern Illinois for the weirdness. So Southern Illinois has long been referred to as Little Egypt. The nickname may be the result of the practices of early settlers from Northern Illinois who traveled to Southern Illinois to buy grain after a series of bad winters and droughts. So after a bad series of winters and drought, they did the story of Joseph played out in Southern Illinois, and that's why they call it Little Egypt. So the story of Joseph happening in Illinois isn't enough. You aren't entertained? Okay, we're gonna move on, get you another reference. Alright? There are 2,000 pyramids in America. 2,000. Wow. You not entertained? That don't do okay, we're gonna be more specific. How many pyramids are in Illinois? 6 square miles. 6 square miles. You know what a square is, my guy? You ever had to do squared math? Boy, you know how long a mile is? Boy, six square of them things. And on them 6 square miles, they had 120 earthen miles and a dozen pyramids. A dozen pyramids. A dozen. Southern Illinois wilding out. All right. What you need another story? That's not enough. Okay, we're gonna go to the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad also operated in southern Illinois, moving equally northward and southward. All right. And the slaves, when they would go there, they would say, "We're going to Canaan, the land of milk and honey," for which at first glance, Egypt would be easily mistaken. Directions to the underground travelers were coded in Bible verses or songs, and the story of Moses fleeing Egypt was certainly used as an analog to their plight. Egypt was the land to escape, and central Illinois represented the biblical Canaan, with Egypt being the treacherous southern Illinois. So the slaves who couldn't read or write, right, dumb as hell, eyes are goes to get you a place, master. These people had enough Bible knowledge to know that southern Illinois resembled Egypt on the other side of the earth. These slaves, we moving on. All right. In 1858, while just as Abraham Lincoln debating Douglas for who gonna run for president. All right. So Douglas, he threatened Lincoln by saying he gonna trot him down to Egypt. Now this debate is happening in northern Illinois, and bro said Lincoln is gonna trot us down to Egypt because he was anti-slavery. So Lincoln and Douglas and everybody who was there at that northern Illinois debate understood that Egypt and southern Illinois had a strange connection. A strange little. Are you not entertained? Is that not enough? We're going to Cairo. Cairo, as you can see here, right? It sits here, and then underneath it runs the Mississippi River. So Cairo sits up top. Mississippi River runs down. In ancient Egypt, in Egypt now, Cairo sits at the top, and the Nile River runs down. That's not you not that ain't doing it for you. Cairo sit okay. We going to Google Earth. What's here? Where we at? Are we in Southern Illinois again? Right? Guess what's here? Lake of Egypt. All these people in Southern Illinois have at the very least acknowledging this is a lot like Egypt. Hey man, this place is a lot like Egypt. Lake Lake Egypt. What are we doing? All right, so let's do a rundown. The slaves have an Egypt story about them escaping from southern Illinois to northern Illinois. All right, the the people who live in Illinois have a Bible story about having to travel south to buy grain because of a drought that has lasted for years. They have an Illinois story. Cairo in Illinois is set up exactly like the Cairo in Egypt over there. They have a Lake Egypt. They have the pyramids, right? They have the pyramids and they have the river. They have the Nile River. They have the Mississippi River. Now, if you think that all that stuff that happened in the Bible happened in that little country over there, or is it more likely to have happened in this big country over here? I'm tired of talking to y'all. I'm out.